You're listening to Plus Size Divas with Deanna and Carmen, only on LA Talk Radio.
Hello, every worthy, beautiful, unique body out there. Thank you so much for tuning in once again. I am Carmen Renee, aka Eat the Cake Too.
And I am at Deanna Bomb Chica. Well, my name is Deanna, at Deanna Bomb Chica. And together we are
the Plus Size Divas.
That's who we are. Hi, everybody. We're a mess today, you guys. I am so overtired. How many people out there are overtired? I'm just overtired. I haven't slept. I have so much to do. I have my daughter's birthday Sunday, my husband's birthday tomorrow. It's just, I'm crazy. It's just what it is.
But we want to make sure that you're following us on all platforms.
Yes.
Because you should be, and we love you, and we want the support, and we want to come back for season 2.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello.
So check us out, Instagram and Twitter at 2 Plus Size Divas. We are on Facebook and YouTube at the Plus Size Divas. If you missed any of our episodes, go check out our YouTube channel, subscribe, turn on the notifications, all that good stuff, guys. We want your support. We appreciate you.
And you know, you guys, I don't know if you know out there, but our season 1 is coming to an end at the end of this month. So we have tonight's guest and then, 2 more guests. And then Carmen and I are moving on to, for this season anyway, we're going to move on to, we have a really exciting announcement coming up the last week. We have a really awesome event we're going to be having in October. We'll tell you more about that the last week. And we're also working on another body positivity event for November. Then we'll probably go dark for the holiday for December, but we'll be back in January with more stuff. So we've got some exciting things going on, some new projects coming up. So that's why you need to stay linked into our social media.
Yeah,
so
and
you
we're not going away. We'll still be, you know, talking and meeting and
present.
But we just won't be here
at LA Talk Radio. You guys, if you want to call in today to speak to our guest, who, by the way, is a little bit tardy.
But she's coming.
She's coming. Bridget Kelly from Love and Hip Hop, singer, songwriter, performer extraordinaire. She will be here. 818-570-5085. In the meantime,
if you, first of all, and also Love and Hip Hop came on last night. So if you watched it and you have questions,
you have to call in.
Call in.
I have questions because I've been watching. But you guys, this week is sponsored. We are sponsored by our favorite Arbonne rep, who happens to be Carmen Renee.
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, first of all, I'm a total failure because I brought stuff in
to show you guys,
display and show you that I was really excited about, and I left it in the car and I didn't realize until it was like 6:59.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I am an independent consultant for Arbonne. Arbonne is a botanically based wellness company, so nutrition, skincare, makeup, it's all vegan, all gluten-free, cruelty-free, which is super important to me.
Yep.
And even if you're not vegan, it's still great to be using botanically based ingredients.
Yep.
You
know what I love about the products? Because I actually use some of Carmen's. I've bought some stuff from Carmen, and I love the products myself. But I buy it because of the cruelty-free thing and everything. But I love that when you read the label, like, you know everything that's in there. There's no like creepy, freaky stuff, and I actually like really love that about the product.
Right. And for me, I love their protein powder. Even though I've been slacking the last like week and a half, you guys know I'm like a gym rat, and so it's always usually because I've been working out with my new trainer who kicks my ass. So now I do my protein powder before the gym, because I need something to sustain my body. But it can be, you know, if you are trying to lose weight, use it. But it's not just for that. This is not, you know, us pushing weight loss. It can be a recovery shake. It can be a snack. Oh my gosh, guys,
somebody's calling in. Let's see who it is.
Okay.
Hi, thank you for calling the Plus Size Divas. Who is calling?
Hi, I just want to say hi, ladies. This is Greg.
Hi, Greg. Is this our friend from New York?
Yes, it is.
Oh,
Greg, I've missed you the last couple of weeks.
But first of all, also, I want to give you a big hug because I feel like New York today is, kind of somber and really feeling, 9/11, I think a little bit more so than all of us here on the West Coast. So big hugs to you, Greg. And how's everything?
Things are going great. I just want to say hi to you, ladies. I know I hadn't talked to you guys in a while, and I get your notifications. I've been traveling and working, so I just want to say hi. You guys keep doing what you're doing.
Oh, thank you for the support, Greg. Thank you so much, and thanks for calling in. And big hug to you and everybody in New York today.
Totally.
All right, bye-bye.
Thank you, Greg. On that 9/11, we have some time before BK gets here. There's so much that has been going on in the news and everything, but I do want to start with, just 17 years later, I was telling Carmen just before the show started, I was there for 9/11. I was living in Jersey City directly across. When they put up those beams of light, that's what I saw in my living room. That's how close I was. Like literally could see it all from my window in Jersey City. And just a big hug to New York. It is one of the most beautiful skylines in the world. And I said today on Facebook that since that day, it is now a broken skyline to me. When I look at it, it just doesn't look the same.
Yeah.
And people are out there healing. But I mean, the craziest thought, there were women pregnant with kids, people that were lost that day, fathers, firefighters, women, everybody that was lost that day. There were women that were pregnant that day. And those kids are 17 years old now.
Yeah.
And grew up without their parent. It's just crazy, and it will absolutely 100% just, it burns in my soul. So if you're in New York, if you're in DC, if one of your loved ones was on one of those planes or in those buildings, we just want to send you a big hug. And it's just a really important day for America. I think a day that we all have to come together and just love each other today. Set aside any political parties or any political BS at all, and let's just love on each other today. So just a somber day for me. Tomorrow's a somber day for me as well a bit. And
I think also for me, it's just a reminder that, we don't have to wait until a tragedy happens in this country to try to, be kind and be loving and set aside what differences we might have and try to unite. It's frustrating to me that that's what happens is we have to wait for something really, really tragic to happen before we can, come together. So I think it's a good lesson also to not wait until then. And
how about tell the people you love them today?
Yeah.
Tell them right now. Say, I love you. I love you, Carmen.
I love you too.
Don't wait for something crazy to happen, because I know that there are people that probably left their houses, mad at each other, got mad over the morning paper or whatever, and they are really regretful of that. So, sorry to start off on such a sad mood, but it is unfortunately just a sad day and a day that has affected all of us in this country. And just more sad news. Let's just go with the gossip.
Here,
the loss of Mac Miller, so very sad. I honestly do not think that it wasn't a suicidal thing. I think that he, and those people that are out there right now, we were talking about this earlier too, kind of blaming Ariana Grande for, what happened. Oh my gosh, you guys, everybody has free will. That woman was not to blame. Nobody is ever, if you make a choice, let me just say something to you. If you're with somebody who is abusive, if you are with somebody who is abusive physically or with substance or alcohol, and you choose to remove yourself from that relationship, I want to just say to you right now, you are absolutely not at fault if something crazy happens. If they commit suicide or they OD or they whatever, you are not responsible. You are responsible for your self-care and taking care of yourself. So as sad as I am that Mac Miller, who was a great, wonderful, talented light,
super young, 26.
is gone. Horrible. That woman is not to blame. You know what I mean? And moving on with her life, not to blame. So that's very sad. Just kind of an icky week.
I know it's a weird week and a tough day to be doing something that should be light and fun on, but that's what we do. So we want to make sure that we pay homage to also.
But let's get to kind of light and fun and something that's on our topic. Carmen and I took advantage of going to a really wonderful event on Saturday.
Yeah.
Our friend Brittany Potter put it on. It was a mental health, body positivity, overall kind of self-care wellness.
Yeah.
It's called Show Up, basically show up for yourself.
Consider it like a self-love workshop.
Yeah, a self-love workshop. And it was all day long. We met some lovely people. Shout out to Mr. Self-Love and Paul Fishman and a bunch of other people that we met and connected with and were lovely. Brittany herself. What a lovely event. We actually are going to be in touch with Brittany because the only part of the event that we felt like didn't hit home was they did have a body positivity panel. And Carmen, tell our listeners so they understand. Tell our viewers
what body positivity
exactly
is.
what body, because if you're out there thinking the body positivity is I love my body, that's self-love. That's great.
Right, and we want that. We definitely want that.
And we do that. But it's not body positivity.
I talked about this a little bit on my Instagram on Sunday that, the body positive community was created for marginalized bodies.
Explain what marginalized is.
Okay. Or non-privileged bodies as
bodies that aren't represented or accepted.
Bodies that aren't represented in the media, so we're talking fat bodies,
disabled,
the queer community, people of color, whether it's an odd shape, different shape, you know what I mean? So I think that this movement has been watered down a little bit by people who, feel good about their bodies and are hashtagging body positivity, which is fine. If
it's just blurring the line.
We want you to feel good, but also it's like, we want this community to be a safe place for people to come, feel comfortable sharing and posting. So, it is something that's sacred. It's definitely sacred for me. I give a lot of credit to the body positive community for making me feel comfortable and giving me a platform. So, really quick, Cindy, hi, thank you for watching. She just texted me. I love her. Who's
Cindy?
Cindy is, I will always consider her a mentor, a really, really good friend of mine. From Oregon. She was my dance coach when I was in junior high, and she's just always been somebody who's really important to me and really motivating. So, and she watches, and I appreciate you. Thank you, Cindy.
Hey, Cindy.
So on Saturday, I think that, it was just it just missed the mark. And I think that,
the women that were on the panel
the women that were on the panel were great women. They were beautiful women, and they all have a journey and they all had a story. I just think that it was not necessarily a representation of the body positive community, because it wasn't.
No.
We had a former Miss California, we had a fit model, we had a pop star, and all of them were...
And 2 women with eating disorders, I think.
I would consider all of them to have very privileged bodies that we are used to seeing in the media, that we're used to seeing on magazine covers, and which is, again, fine. Like, this is not a knock, but it can be dangerous to people listening.
Yes.
And I spoke to some of the audience members, and it was in fact dangerous for them to hear some of the remarks and how they understood body positivity and how they, viewed their own bodies, and it can be very, very dangerous to people listening who are already in a very vulnerable place with their own bodies. To see somebody who looks like that, quote unquote perfect body, or the bodies that we're used to seeing, and be like, wait, that's not my body.
You guys, just to cut to the chase, Carmen and I were the biggest women in the room. And if you're having a body positivity panel, we probably should have saw a couple more bodies that looked like us. Just saying.
I mean, one body that looked like us would have been nice.
Yeah.
So,
but it wasn't.
But it makes for conversation, and we're gonna have that conversation, and we're gonna continue to educate, and that's what we're here for. For me, in the moment, it was very, very frustrating. I left there, actually angry, but I understand that that it's our role to educate and to next time have the conversations of a body that you're not used to seeing. How do you come to a place of loving yourself, of finding acceptance. And I think that that's the power of seeing all different shapes and sizes.
Yes.
Have those conversations.
Miss America just happened. Miss America, and they crowned African American Miss America, and it was lovely. But, you know, let's just plug into that. Like, for me, that competition will always be BS until... Well,
let me tell you the only thing I saw about Miss America. I was flipping through Instagram stories, and I think it was TMZ, and it said the headline was, see the Miss America candidate who stole the show in her bikini.
Wow.
That was the only headline I saw, and it's just like, I want to be that person on TMZs that says, see Miss America or see Carmen Renee steal the show in her bikini.
Because it's
because I do, first of all. and second of all, like,
it's a body Miss America isn't used to.
Yeah.
Right. So
it's just, I just understand that we have so much work to do.
Yeah. Miss America, and I did tweet that night, congratulations to Miss America, but unfortunately this competition will always be bullshit until all shapes and sizes, women of all shapes and sizes, are able to compete. And there are limitations, like there are requirements, like you have to be so tall and so this and so that and whatever. And until that happens, what are we promoting? You know, that's America? No, that's not the median of American women. Unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, actually, that brings us to, let's do our quote. I think Brooklyn, I think she's on her way. Bridget.
Did you just call her Brooklyn?
Because I was thinking of New York, and she's from New York. Can't I call her Bridget?
Yeah, Bridget, but BK Bridget, yeah.
Okay.
Brooklyn, whatever. But yeah, be positive. Let's go. Give them a quote this week, Carmen.
It's all B, so now we're doing be positive. Mm-hmm. So the be positive quote that I have, I don't even need to read it, because I'm just that good.
You know it. Mm-hmm.
It says, you are absolutely gorgeous, and that is the least interesting thing about you.
Love that.
So it's not like meant to be rude. It's just meant to be like, let's stop putting so much emphasis on this and put an emphasis on what's actually important.
The inside, honey.
The inside,
Heart, the mind.
how we live our lives, how we treat each other.
Yes.
I think one thing on Saturday that really kind of got me was there was so much talk about the outward appearance.
Yes.
That it just like it hurt my soul.
Yes.
We didn't talk about integrity. We didn't talk about strength, being
honor,
strong, honor.
truth.
Yeah, we just didn't talk about that.
Genuine, generous. I've often said, call me smart, call me compassionate, call me genuine, call me a good friend, a good mom, a good wife. That means more than you're hot or you're pretty or you're beautiful. Okay. Do you know what I mean? Like, call me the things that if you tell me like, wow, Deanna, you're like really focused or you're inspirational, those are the things that will light me up way more than like, you look pretty today. Yeah. So I guess the point of that quote is just to remind you that, what we see on the outside, it's great. And you choose to do with that what you want. And to me, you're all gorgeous, but it really is like, it's just the least interesting thing about you. It really is.
So,
we met a woman on Saturday, that, I think her story was that when she was a kid, she had surgery on her face and the doctor cut one of her nerves. And so one of her sides of her face doesn't move and it's different than the other side. And she was so beautiful to me.
Seriously.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's funny, I followed her on Instagram and her pictures are beautiful.
This.
Yeah, she's an athlete and she's all these things and she's just killer and
oh my gosh.
Bring it in.
Gorgeous and amazing soul at the same time.
Hi.
Here she is. Hi.
Come on in. BK is here, y'all.
I'm here.
She's here.
Hi, ladies.
And she's really living that LA life with that LA show up.
She's so cute.
I'm so sorry.
No, hold on. I'm going to put your mic on. Get your headphones on, honey. Okay. Everybody, please welcome.
Gosh, and she smells really good, too.
And she smells delicious.
Thank you.
Bridget Kelly,
Yay.
I was telling them we had our whole 9/11 thing, and I was like, we couldn't have, in my personal opinion, gotten a more appropriate guest for today.
Were you still in New York?
I was, yeah. I was a sophomore in high school, actually.
Wow.
I was in high school that day. They had an emergency lockdown, so nobody could leave. Nobody could
I'm not going to tell you how old I was that day when I was in New York, but she was a sophomore in high school.
Yes.
But yeah, like original New Yorker.
Yes.
And we were just saying how, like, you know, one of our viewers called in and he's in New York, and we were just like, just big hug to New York.
Yeah,
it's just
the energy in 9/11 is always very somber.
Yes.
Yeah, it's very somber.
Yeah.
Every year it doesn't change. No matter how much time passes, everybody still feels like there's that moment of just
right
melancholy. Yeah.
Right. But we're not going to get sad.
No,
because you're here. You're here. And we got like 30 minutes with you now, but it's all good.
I'm so excited that we have 30 minutes.
We have 30 minutes. But listen to me. We are, the reason that I'm excited to have you here today, on top of the fact that you're fabulous and I love you to death. Amazing performer, amazing songwriter, you know, like you just, I mean, the girl like toured with Jay-Z, like no small beans, whatever. You're on Love and Hip Hop now.
Yes.
And we got to talk about the fact that, you know, people are like, somebody asked me this week, they're like, you're having a body positivity show, like why is BK one of your guests? And I went,
what? Who asked you that?
I'm not even going to talk about it because I had to put them in their place. But I was like, first of all, you know, the woman works very hard, and she's inspirational to me. Like, she's always like, what is your thing? If you don't sweat,
if you didn't sweat, it didn't count.
Yes. This woman takes serious care of her body.
Yes.
And takes pride in herself. And I've never in a million years seen you ever throw shade at anybody
ever
who isn't where you're at.
Which, by the way, the fitness aspect of my life and of my brand is centered completely around mental and emotional health.
Yes.
Right.
Only because, I mean, and you understand this too, being a songwriter, being a creative, there's so many variables in our lives that we cannot control, right? There's so many things, there's so many factors that hit us all the time that we're affected by. For me, one thing I can control every day is how hard I work, right? So whether I get up, it's not about looking a certain way, it's about feeling a certain way. Right. If I work hard that day, I don't care. Sometimes I'll go in there with a lash on from the night before, and the lash will be hanging off, and I look crazy. You know what I mean? And it's less about really looking the part, and more about really feeling like I'm better than I was yesterday. That's the whole point. Right. That's all. That's really the only thing that matters to me. The "if you didn't sweat, it didn't count" motto came from wanting to see results in your work in that moment. Right. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes you don't really feel. Like, I started drinking apple cider vinegar, and I feel it in my body. It's horrible. You know what I mean? It feels awful, but because you feel it, it's working. You know what I mean? You assume because you feel it, it's working. The sweat to me is like an indication that I'm working hard.
Right.
Yeah. And this is also just a show about positivity and being nice, kind to yourself and kind to your body. If anybody follows me, I always say do something nice for your body today.
Every day.
Right. For me, I it's the gym because it's mental. Yeah. But it doesn't have to be it, and it can just be doing something to make you feel better mentally and physically.
Yes.
But yeah, people get, again, my quote today was, "You're absolutely gorgeous, and it's the least interesting thing about you." Yes. We're just so caught up on, she's doing it because she wants to look a certain way.
And how many people do we know that are stunning on the outside but pieces of shit on the inside? And let's not talk
trash.
About
the majority of people that I know, or even if they're not complete trash, they suffer in silence with so many insecurities that no one ever knows. Right. And that part of it is like, wow, those are things we don't get a chance to discuss. People can talk all day long. Pretty girls are a dime a dozen. We're in Hollywood, people. It's a dime a dozen.
Somebody's calling. Hold on.
Okay.
I think I missed it. Hey, thanks for calling the Plus Size Divas. Who's calling in?
Oh, hi. My name's Ronaldo. I'm a transgender woman.
Hey, Ronaldo.
Oh, hello.
Hi.
Hi. Do you have a question for us or something you want to ask BK?
Yeah. I just wanted to ask, I've had a lot of problems with your arms. Like, what the fuck? That looks like you'd fly if you fell out of a tree. Jesus Christ. How do you walk around with those things? Holy shit. What the fuck?
Are you talking about you or me or Carmen or
I'm confused.
BK? Who are you talking to?
Girl on the left with the big dangly things in the ears. Like, what the fuck? Holy shit. It's like the Michelin man over there. Like, cover that shit up. We don't want to see that.
Are you
my
serious?
kids.
So you're calling a diss?
You're calling to be nasty? One of those people that's totally confused and insecure and hateful. I wish you all the best in your life. I'll pray for you, ma'am. Thank you.
Wow. Ma'am, have a good day.
You can for sure hang up on that
Bye-bye.
person.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know, and it's really sad.
Like, literally what we just stopped.
That now there are trolls calling. And I'm going to take it to you, girl, because let me tell you something. Sir, I don't even know what's happening. Wow. But let me just say something to you. It's really funny because I was about to have a real transparent moment with you all, and it's more imperative now than anything.
I'm sorry. I thought that she was calling because she was saying that she said, I'm trying to figure out what to do, like how to feel good about that part of my body.
Your arms. Okay. And I'm thinking to myself, what circuit can I... Okay.
Wow. Okay. So anyway, it was funny last night. I went to bed. I'm going to have a transparent moment with y'all.
Yes.
Yeah.
And base it off of this. See, what's really funny about when you do love you and you're on this journey is people like that don't bother you. And by the way, if you're still listening, I've been fat my whole life. I've struggled with this. I've been on a diet since I was 8. You got to come up with some other insult besides your fat to get to me.
Yeah.
Talk about my mama. You know what I mean? Fat, I've heard my whole life. Tell me I'm not a good person. Tell me I'm not genuine or compassionate. Right. Tell me I'm not smart.
Is this the same person or a new caller?
I don't know, but let's see.
Okay.
Let's see. Maybe it's the same person.
This might be.
Hi, thanks for calling the Plus Size Divas. This is my happy voice. Who's calling? Hello? Hello, are you there? Okay, bye. Anyway,
I didn't think people still fat shame in 2018.
Yeah.
Like that's still
girl.
a thing.
Oh my
yes,
gosh.
honey.
That's still a thing.
Honey,
I can't post a picture
listen.
without
Oh,
somebody.
dear.
Listen, I went to bed last night. This is my transparent moment. I went to bed last night, and it has been ramping up that I haven't felt great about myself. I used to be 320 pounds. You knew me a lot bigger. I lost weight, and then I've kind of just been teetering, and I do have a goal in mind. I tell her all the time, I want to join the what's the club called? The one club,
Wonderland.
Wonderland Club.
What's the Wonderland?
Where you have a 1 in front of
200.
your number instead of a 2. I mean, it's what it is.
Oh.
They're calling again. Hold on one second, and then I'm going to get back to my story. Hey, thanks for calling the Plus Size Divas. Who's calling? Hello? Hi, I'm sorry you're breaking up horribly.
Hi, who's this?
Okay. I don't know what that is. We're just hanging up
Okay.
on things.
Sorry.
Anyway, you know, but I've been angry with myself because about 2 years ago, I was like literally 10 pounds to my goal, to seeing a 1 in front of my number. Guess what?
Yeah.
Still going to be fat then. Newsflash. But for me, it's the smallest I would have been in literally like 15 years.
Wow.
Okay. So I went to bed last night and was just so sad. And I said, you know what? I'm going to change things in the morning. And I got up. And I was like, I'm going to get on the scale. I'm going to see what this number says. Jesus, help me. And I got on that scale, and that number scared me. It's the number that, like, if I hover around that, I'm like, got to get it right.
Right.
What was the first thing that I did? I put my sneakers on. I took a 4-mile hilly ass sweat hike. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna take back control. And what you were saying about do it for you. Do it. I don't feel great. I'm healthy. I went to the everything's good,
everything is on
but
point.
I don't feel great.
Right.
And that for me is very important. And I have to tell you, on that walk, I actually thought of you, and I was like, she would be so proud because I'm over here sweating. But really, I felt so much better. Yeah. And I started my day and was like, check, did that, took care of that. Yeah. So again,
because it's something that no one can take from you. You know what I mean? Nobody can take it. No one can talk to you about. People can have their own progress, their own scale of what they feel like it works for them, and that's fine. Right. But ultimately, I know people that work out 10 times harder than I do all the time, and still are trying. They're chasing a destination versus really just taking bits and pieces of that journey and saying, you know what, I'm owning who I am in this moment. Who I am is enough. It took enough for me to get here. The fact that I've shown up, the fact that you got up, the fact that you got on the scale and you said, you know what, girl, I'm too far. I'm too far from where I need to be. I need to just get on this hike. The fact that you did any of that, even if you walked a mile, do you know what I mean? It just, at the end of the day, it's really about pushing yourself past whatever limit you set for yourself.
Yes. And I'm going to wrap up that little call with something that she gave me. Yeah. My arms do not look the way I want my arms to look. She knows that I have insecurities about, I have thin family members, and it's like a genetic, we have chubby arms. Yeah. It's what it is. I have a cousin who's like, she's always like, look at, and she's skinny. Like, she's skinny and she has chunky little arms. We have chunky little arms. We're Italians. I just want to say to Ronaldo, sir, my arms, I'm thankful for my arms because I have them. I can hug my husband with them, my daughter, my friends. I can move things and make moves.
She could also probably, under every circumstance, knock your ass out. Whether you feel like being Ronaldo or whether you feel like being your alternate personality, she could knock you out, both of you.
And there's my thing too. Like when I look at my legs and there's cellulite, you said to me one day, Deanna, you have legs.
You have legs.
People are in wheelchairs begging for my legs.
Girl, Beyonce has cellulite. We all have cellulite.
Yeah.
Whatever.
That's a thing. That's just a thing. We're women. We're women.
We're women.
We're women. Cellulite is a thing. Like that's also genetic, by the way.
Thank you.
You can be as athletic as you want. My mother is athletic. My mother rode her bicycle. My mother's 67 years old. She rode her bicycle across the country 2 years ago. Wow. She has cellulite. I don't want to hear it.
It's what it is.
Yeah.
So anyway, we will move on from that. But the reason that we were really excited to have you on the show, we were talking about, or we were going to talk about the whole Nikki Cardi thing and women being pitted against each other. They even tried to do it in the U.S. Open with Serena and the woman who won. And it was like, nah, man. And they sat there and they stood in solidarity and they didn't agree with what went on, but they stood there in solidarity. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're on a show.
Yeah.
That's what it's like. It feeds off of the drama and women being pitted against each other.
Yes.
So I want you to speak on it, and then I want to have a conversation about it.
I think with women, we have a hard time dealing with embarrassment, right? I think that for like when you think about when men fight, and I remember like having this conversation in like high school, right? Because we all just everybody just used to get into fights. We were rambunctious. We were bad kids. But guys would get into fights, and it would be a terrifying thing for guys because a lot of guys would feel like I could die in this fight. Do you know what I mean? I'm fighting for my life almost every single time I get approached in an altercation, right? The objective is to not die. The objective is to make it out alive. If you're a man, as a woman, when you're fighting, the objective is not to kill the woman. The objective is to humiliate her. The objective is to embarrass her so that she can't come back from that. Do you know what I mean? To make her look bad versus beating her up. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, you could beat a girl up, but ultimately, whether or not you could not beat her up and just slap her around a little bit and embarrass her so badly that she'll never mess with you again.
Right.
I think with women, we have really, unfortunately, especially women of color, we thrive on the power that comes with being able to humiliate one another because we can't do it with men. Right? It's a lot harder for us to do it with men, especially in entertainment, especially on television. Right. We're all objectified. We're all everything is over sexualized all the time. So the only power that we have then as women is to fight each other because that's our only competition, so to speak. And even then, we're not going to fight over who's sexier. Do you know what I mean? And if we like, there's not going to be a battle of the boobs. Do you know what I mean? It's like everybody loves boobs, so it doesn't matter. No one's going to win the battle of the boobs. So you have to find another way to beat the other woman. And I just think on our show in particular, it's unfortunate that a lot of times, we'll have offline conversations and off the record conversations, and then we get in front of the camera, and all of a sudden it becomes this competition to see who's going to embarrass who first. Now that the cameras are rolling, and that part of it is tough because, for the most part, at least for me, I can't speak for a lot of the other cast members, but I don't take any of that shit home. Do you know what I mean? When it's time to clock out, I'm clocking out. I'm leaving. Yeah. I don't want, when it's time to just, we're done with the scene, we're done. I go back home and I live my life.
Right. And what's interesting is that, like, this season, what I found interesting was that, and we're going to go to next season, because I know you.
Yes.
And I know your ex.
Very well. Yes.
And I saw what they did there, too. Like, I saw this season, Lyrica maybe cheated on A1 with Safari. Safari was the G with the big dick.
Right.
And Lyrica is this, and the way that they portray
Safari got $1 million deal with a sex toy company, by the way. And Lyrica has been demonized on the internet.
Exactly.
Yes.
And season prior, they demonized you.
Yes.
As this sluterific.
Yes.
Had no idea, nobody, and it really pissed me off that if you were Safari, you would have been like, yeah, I'm a G who does X, Y, and Z. But they did the same thing to you, and it was. I watched that and went like, but that's not how it is, because I know you, and I know it was crazy.
Yeah, it was pretty devastating. I think the hard part about reality TV is we film for such a long period of time, so we don't get to see what stuff makes the edits and what doesn't. Right. So they can kind of cut and paste, pick and choose what elements of the story they want to share, and then the rest of it just kind of gets thrown by the wayside. Right. And in my case, I mean, unfortunately, I went on there being completely transparent about my past and my history with the hopes that would propel my relationship forward in a much more transparent, honest, beautiful space. Right. And it ended up working against us, unfortunately.
Wow.
Yeah. It worked against us.
And I didn't like watching it. I remember being like,
painful.
wait, what?
Yeah.
But it pissed me off. Like you said, I didn't know about Safari.
Right.
By the way, when I saw the picture, this was my face. Jesus. But anyway.
How did that happen? Yeah.
This microphone looks
right.
small. Let me just tell you. If you haven't seen the video, well, damn, Safari.
I mean, if we put that, listen, we can put that up against a number of things. That entire stool, the lamp, you know, the tripod. We could just call it a tripod.
But I really, you know, and again, knowing Lyric, I don't really know A1, but no, you know, like, she's always been that chick that she's
sweetheart.
With you. She's with you.
Yeah.
I you know, I was like, I don't know if I'm buying.
It was kind of a reach. It was kind of a reach. Yes. It was a reach. Yeah.
But the point is the way that, you know, they're okay pitting and even with Brooke and K Michelle and all this, and I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
You know, and I want to know, like, really seriously, because you know why I wanted you on the show? This bitch is the clap back queen. Okay, I would watch her Twitter after, you know, they were again demonizing her with James on Twitter everywhere, and I was commenting on everything. I was like, I'm gonna throw my phone.
I know, it was bad to the point where like my manager had to take my phone. Like, you can't keep responding to these trolls. You have to leave them alone. Stop giving them the negativity back.
Yes, but you did it so eloquently and intellectually. I will tell you, it wasn't like you were like making yourself look bad. You were actually like intelligent with it. I was like, go ahead, please. You deal with that a lot.
I do.
You even deal with people. I watch you closely. You deal with putting up a video in the gym and people saying things about your body. And I'm like, what, where are these people? The audacity.
Right. And it's people that don't know you. It's always people that don't know you that just feel comfortable. And I think social media has really, has just like, just warped how we see each other. Right. Because it's kind of, you think that the proximity to a person is different because you have access to their social media page. Yes. And it's like, really, you're only seeing what I want you to see. You're only seeing what I'm allowing you to see.
Right.
So, you know, the presumptuous attitude that a lot of people have on the internet is just kind of like, well, I know who you are. I know what kind of person you are. I know what you like. I know what you don't like. I'm watching you work out. You're curvy. You obviously want attention for this, and you want
right.
And I'm like, well, I mean, I work hard, but I also, I mean, I'm not naive and not blind and oblivious to the fact that people are paying attention, because there are people that want to see what my butt looks like when I squat. I get it, but for me, it's more so about...
I'm probably one of those people.
I definitely am. Just sign me up. No. Yeah, no. Just sign me up.
Well, you guys are the least creepy then, if that's the case.
Yeah, there you go.
No, I think the internet has everybody screwed up. I think everyone just feels like they can say what they want to strangers. And it's like, if I saw you in Target, would you really keep that same energy? I don't think you would.
Yeah, no, they're keyboard bullies. Like,
right.
They're like, oh, I'm safe.
Twitter thugs. Right.
Yeah, Twitter thugs.
But I think it's also because we've created this space where there's so many images that really make us not feel good about ourselves.
Right.
So instead of trying to figure out why we don't feel good about ourselves, you just combat it with negativity, more negativity. And it's, I'm just always really upset by how in our society, women, it's like we're raised to hate each other.
Right.
And not support each other. And it doesn't matter, you know, we can talk about the Cardi B and Nicki Minaj thing a little bit. Male rappers have beefs all the time. All the time. And we don't talk about it in the same way that we talk about with these two female rappers. Right. And it just goes back into, you know, Deanna and I talk about it. There's women, oh, she's curvy. You know, oh, she doesn't like me. Like, it's actually happened. There are women in the body positive community because you look a certain way, your competition. It's like we create environments for support, for understanding, but yet there's still competition because it's like it's ingrained in us that you can't have something that I don't.
Right.
That's a very good point.
You know what I mean? Or else I just don't like you.
Right.
So I'd like to figure out how we move past that.
I mean, I think in general we are we're bred to focus on our weaknesses and not our strengths. And I find that even in school. Like, you think about being a kid and being in class, right? Nobody ever paid attention to what you were really great at. Everybody figured out what you were terrible at, what you needed help with, and they gave you a tutor for that. Versus you're incredible at math. I'm going to get you a math tutor so you can be in all of the college AP classes, and let's do it that way. Right. Yeah. Rather than really keep that tunnel vision on the strength, we focus on, oh, well, you're great at math, but you suck at English, at reading comprehension. So we're going to get you an English tutor. Right. And it's like, why is the focus still on all across the board, the lack of something versus the abundance of something else.
Right. Well, because we're just always, we're like programmed to think we're never good enough.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And we have industries that thrive on that.
Right.
I mean, every industry, every retail industry,
yeah.
beauty industry, it's like, we're not taught this is what you need to be healthy. This is what you need to thrive.
Right.
No, this is what you need to change.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
Like
very
we're
true.
very, very careful. Like we've built a little bit of a platform and we're getting some DMs now.
Yes.
Like, I don't want to talk about the products. If you don't want to talk about the products, but some of the products, like, hey, rep this product, we'll give you this and we'll pay you for it or whatever. And it's like, no. If I'm going to rep something, it's going to be to enhance what I have or add to or whatever, but it's not going to be to change.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to be that chick in the censure, and I'm not going to be the one with the flat tummy tea.
Right.
It's just
And
not
if
my
you
life.
are,
That's just me.
That's fine. It's just
It is.
not the
It's just
platform.
not me. It's not me.
Right.
I said to her the other day, actually, on the way home from a self-love event, I was like, beyond the filters on Instagram and even that, I am not touching my pictures.
Right.
Ever.
And you shouldn't.
Ever.
You
But
shouldn't.
so many people do. And it's like,
Right.
I'm not, and I haven't really, ever.
Yeah.
But I'm really, really not. Like, I remember when I learned about Facetune, and I was like, that is the pure devil.
Yeah.
I can take in my waist? That is so fucked up. I can't
crazy.
even.
You can change your face. You can add brows that you didn't have. You can make your hair longer. You can
get taller.
I'm like,
That's
this is
crazy.
just a lie. This
It's a
is just
lie.
turning everybody into liars.
It's lies.
It's
Yeah.
lies.
Yeah.
Well, you become a salesperson for things that are not real, and it's like,
Yes.
why am I selling this fraudulent image of myself? I mean, and it's interesting because I've gotten propositioned by photographers and bikini brands and you name it to do things, to shoot provocative photo shoots and do thirst trap. Like, we could do this great thirst trap photo shoot. No.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, for what purpose exactly?
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Because the majority of my followers, I want them to, what I want to impart on them is whether or not I am posting workout videos or whether or not I am deemed attractive according to whatever societal, superficial standards exist. I still want everyone to be able to punctuate and know the difference between there, and there.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? If you don't know the difference between the possessive pronoun and the contraction for they are, we shouldn't even be having any type of
Please,
exchange.
please
And it's
don't try to leave a hate
Valentine's
comment.
Not
Day.
Valentine's.
Okay, that's what's important, people. Nothing we're talking about right. That's what's important.
It's not Valentine's.
Please, and we live in a world where there's a spell check everywhere. Please spell check.
I know that's Deanna. If someone leaves like a troll comment and then they
I'll check them on their grammar.
You cannot be a
I checked them
social
on their
media
grammar. I
bully
do.
and not have good grammar.
No.
Yeah.
Because it's the first thing I'll say to you.
Like, you're a terrible woman. Wait a minute, that's plural. Hold on. I appreciate
You're
that you
right.
think I have the power of more than one,
Yes.
but you got that wrong.
Hello.
I'm only one woman.
I cannot.
Yeah.
I cannot, but it's so true. That is so very true.
The Nikki and Cardi thing,
Yes.
you brought up an interesting point about the fact that men do that all the time.
Yes.
And women get scrutinized way more than men do. And I think that's also because in our minds, we want to believe that female celebrities in particular, especially performers, are unicorns. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's the hard part because you have an artist like a Beyonce who is a unicorn.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who works really, really hard, who is talented and beautiful and warm and genuine beyond belief, but and still look and dance and run around the stage and have 3
I don't
children
even
and
understand it. I don't understand
I'm tired
it.
watching. I'm like, girl, you in a jazz heel. My feet hurt and I'm in sneakers. I don't know what is going on.
Girl, I did a charity event Saturday night. I had to sing 9 songs back up. And at the end, I was like, these heels, how does she do it? I don't even get how she does a whole show.
Exhausting.
I don't get
Exhausting.
it.
But she's a unicorn,
she's a
right?
unicorn.
And for the majority of her career, I can imagine she probably faced so many moments of like, do I expose this about myself? Do I tell the truth about this? Do I share this struggle? Do I share this insecurity? And I think as women, the beautiful thing that I think is happening, especially in music now, is we are embracing what is normal and regular and not over the top glamorized and not like insanely majestic, but just like just loving just bare bone talent. And I think when there is bare bone talent, the expectations are higher, right? So for someone like a Cardi B, whether she got her teeth done or not, whether she was married to Offset or not, everybody really likes her.
Yeah.
So we all think the world of her. So to see her kind of come out of her own skin in a situation, which I mean maybe that's, I mean I'm sure that's really, she's from the Bronx. I wouldn't be surprised if that's really who she is, but to see her come out of character based on the character that the pedestal that we put her on, I think is why we feel so, I mean, downtrodden, I'll say, because it's kind of like, dag, as soon as we take like 50 steps forward and then we kind of take like 10 steps back. Yeah. Like I think about the rappers that actually beef, they're not that intelligent, number one. The really successful ones beef, and then they come out with music that kind of aids that, aids and abets their beef, and it propels their careers forward. Drake is a perfect example. His diss record was nominated for a Grammy. Right. So they take it to their craft versus, I see you and I'm going to throw my shoe at you when I, at a fashion week event.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good for the music. You know what I mean? Half the Nicki Minaj songs I love, I know they're like talking shit about somebody. Right. But why take it further? Because that's always been rap music. Yeah. Typically, you're talking shit about somebody.
Right. Yeah.
I don't really care who it is. Like, it makes for a good song. But why do we have to? Like, I was listening to Big Boy this morning, and it's like, it's not even there's room at the table. Like, there's literally, you can have separate tables. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's no female rappers beyond the two of you. Right. It's okay. There's plenty of room.
Like, share it. Like, grow it. Bring other female rappers in. Like, do something with your platform that is helpful for women and for, trying to be supportive as a gender instead of being always so divisive.
I think what it goes back to, though, too, is the idea of trusting that the other woman is going to meet you in that same space. Right? So like you said, in your field of self-love and promoting that, there's still people that are, as much as you are body positivity, people in the body positivity community that may still see you as competition. Yeah. So they can't meet you on that level of positivity, even though they're in the same sphere. Yeah. So even if somebody like a Cardi B is like, listen, waving the white flag, let's get together and really take on this female empowerment thing. If she does that, she's taking a risk, and she's making herself vulnerable in a space where Nicki Minaj could turn around and be like, you cornball bitch, I'm not doing that. You know what I mean? And then at that point, everyone looks at Cardi like, oh, you're corny now because she said you were. So it's kind of like how can we inspire one another to not be so afraid of rejection from the other side?
Right. That's a good point.
That's a good question.
That is a good point. It made me sad though to hear Nicki's show the next day.
Yeah, Queen Radio.
And she was like, she's built her whole platform off X, Y, and Z. And I was like, man, like you really could have taken the high road and just been like, you know what I mean? Like,
she should have left it was humiliating. And at a
she should have just said it was a misunderstanding and it shouldn't have taken place there. That's really all she should have said. True. That's all she should have said. Because ultimately, you're not selling. You're never promoting yourself by shitting on somebody else. Yeah. Especially as a woman. It just doesn't work.
No.
It doesn't work. You can't pitch yourself against a woman that people already love.
Right.
That's a women's champion, and then think that that's somehow going to make you bigger or better. I mean, we watched it happen with Carrie Hilson when she made one small teeny comment about Beyonce.
Yes.
And she pit herself against the champ. You know what I mean? It's like that was the people's choice, and you literally pit yourself against her in a scenario that was probably blown out of proportion, but
yes.
Yeah.
Which was but either way, she's still grappling with those repercussions.
Well, my hope for them is that we get a Drake and Meek Mill moment that we got on Sunday.
I'm looking for a record. I would love a record that's just them on the record
in studio together. Yeah. Not Motorsport where they didn't do any. You know what I mean? They weren't even
where it was forced.
They weren't even. They didn't even film the music video at the same day.
Right.
We have literally 2 minutes.
So we need to hear
what you're doing.
Yes. What are you doing?
And you need to share.
How everyone can find you, everything.
You got 2 whole minutes to share.
You have to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Yeah. Yes. And I haven't been using Snapchat, unfortunately. But that's also because I just feel like I like to go live and it's more interactive on Instagram and Twitter.
Yeah.
It's at I am Bridget Kelly on all platforms. And my album Reality Bites is out. It's my first full-length album. Really excited about that. I'm putting some tour dates together now that we're finishing filming this season. I haven't been able to leave LA for too long. But then I'm also working on another project, which I'm really pumped about, that I'm going to put out hopefully by the end of the year. So I'm really excited.
Is that just you or with somebody?
Just me.
Just you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And and touring alone or with somebody?
I really want to tour with people.
Yeah.
I really want to tour with people. I've been like researching where my songs, what playlist my songs end up on like Spotify and Tidal and stuff to get a feel for other new artists that are on the rise that I can do some.
I was waiting for you to come on the show to tell you really quickly that I watched the episode where K Michelle had her butt implant, butt injection, whatever. Stupid Deanna moment. Films it on Instagram and is like, yes, girl, love yourself. You're a masterpiece. You don't need those injections. And who did I tag in it? Who did I tag?
Keisha Cole.
Keisha Cole instead. Keisha Cole DMs me.
You did not tag Keisha Cole instead.
Bitch, yes. And Keisha Cole DMs me and is like, that's not me. And I was like, I know, my bad. I had like a Serena moment. Like,
Serena
Do you know what I mean? Like, there's a couple people in music that are the same people to me. Them bitches are the same people to me. No offense, white girl moment. Here you go. Hate me if you need to. But girl, I was like, wait until Bridget hears this one.
Oh my God.
And I was like really trying to be like, yes, girl, good.
Be like, well, damn, bitch. So you thought my ass was fake this whole time?
You had the best of intentions.
You did.
Listen, we're done.
I know.
Follow Bridget Kelly. We're done. Next week we have Sierra Nilsson. We're so excited to have her.
I love Sierra. She's so sweet.
Do you know her?
I do.
Yay! She's going to be our guest
wonderful.
next week. She's going to be on. Thank you for making it. Thank you for coming through. Thank you for the rawness and the realness.
Me. Oh, you guys, this is so. Carmen, I'm going to need you to like record your voice on my voicemail because Carmen is the most soothing voice in the world. Yes. Like this is just just oozes love and warmth. Yes.
Oozes love. Thank you for tuning in.
Guys, do
next
something
week.
nice for your body and do something nice for somebody else and stop competing and start supporting.
Definitely stop calling into talk shows and talking shit though. That's for real. Night night, Ronaldo.
I still can't wrap my head around that. Does that happen before?
You're listening to Plus Size Divas with Deanna and Carmen, only on LA Talk Radio.
But it was prefaced with.